So we're continuing working on this drawing right here. That's what we're drawing. And we're going to continue on now and work on our orthographic projection and go over and do the right side view. So just like when we are doing this by hand, we need to do projection lines. Except for in CAD, those are not regular lines. They're a thing called construction lines. So what I'm going to do next is change my current layer to the construction layer. And just a second, yours will work just fine. I'm going to go ahead and add some other extra lines on my drawing. Alright, so what we're going to do is change our layer to the construction layer. So there I've got my construction layer active. That's my current layer. And I'm going to draw a thing called a construction line. And this is located on your Home tab, your Draw toolbar panel. You actually have to click Draw to get the flyout. And we're looking at that icon right there. You can also type in XL in your command line, XL. So I'm going to go ahead and start the construction line command. And what a construction line is just a ray that goes through a point. So a ray is infinite directions in both directions. So now that I've started the construction line command, and if I read down here in my command line, I have some options there in brackets. Horizontal, vertical, angular, bisector, offset. So I'm going to work on my right side view next, so I'm going to go ahead and choose H for horizontal, and I'm going to throw in some horizontal lines. So if you've got your O-snaps turned on, you can come in then and snap everywhere that you would draw a projection line. We are going to draw a construction line. So I've got all of those points right there. When you're done drawing those lines in, just push escape and that will end that command. So we just drew some construction lines and they go infinite length left to right. Those are horizontal, they go through the points. So the next thing you'll notice is what happened to our red lines that were back here. Well, they're there, you just aren't seeing them exactly. If I draw a box from the upper left to the lower right, you'll see that they're all there. I just selected them, you can see the blue grid boxes. Now I'm going to use a command called draw order and bring those up to the front. The draw order command can also be found right here on the modify toolbar. I can choose right here and choose to bring those objects to the front. So I'm going to push that button right there, and now you'll see we just pulled the red lines in front of the green ones. So we've got our construction lines now drawn. So you can come back in on your own and put in the vertical construction line. See if you can figure that one out all on your own. So again, the only thing that's a little bit different with doing vertical construction lines is after you start the XL command, then you're going to choose V for vertical. So now you should have a picture that looks something like that. So now what we're going to do is draw in our visible layer over on our right side view. So I need to change my current layer to visible. Okay, there we go. And now I need to start drawing over here for my visible layers. So if you start the line command, so L for line, and you try to snap over here, it's not going to let you do it. It keeps going back over here to that endpoint, and I don't want that. So what you have to be careful of is if you've got your extension snap turned on, you can hover your mouse over top of this corner and pull your mouse out, and see how I've got that little dashed line and the little X and it says extension. That means that I'm lined up with that line right there. So I'm just going to come over about that far and click. So now I have the first point of my line, and just like if we were doing it on the board, we already know that height. It's just going to be a snap down to this construction line. Okay, so there we go. We can kind of start to draw our way around. So then you can put in that shape right there. Not too bad. So what is the width from here, from this point to that point? Go ahead and look that up on your drawing, and then you can draw in the rest of that shape. Alright, so I'm going to come over 2, and again, because I have my ortho turned on, I just had to get my mouse going in that direction, and I typed in the number. Then I'm going to come up, and I don't have to necessarily type in a distance. I already know where that point is based upon my construction line. So I'm going to snap right there. Then I need to come to the right. It looks like 1.5. That would be 2 minus a half, so 1.5. Then I'm going to go up to there, and just again, this is just kind of connecting the dots. Just make sure that you've got your object snap turned on. So there we go. Not too bad. So our next step then is to come in and work on this little angle right there. Okay, that's what we're shooting for, is that angle. We know that it starts from this point and it goes down at 15 degrees. So what we're going to do next is turn on our polar tracking. We're going to set our polar angle increment to 15 degrees. So let's check out how we do that. Down in our status bar, we're going to activate polar by clicking it, making it blue. Okay, then we're going to right click on that and we're going to set this to 15. So basically what polar does is it's going to snap at every 15 degrees. It's going to snap on to 15, 30, 45, you get the idea. So we're going to set it to 15. Now I'm going to come over and start my line command, so L enter. And I know that the 15 starts right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that endpoint. And I know that it comes down this way at 15. Now notice that that angle right there does not say 15. It says 195. So we kind of got to do a little math in our head. That's 180 plus 15. So here's your 180. There's another 15 degrees down. Okay. Now, in this example, I'm going to use polar, and I'm also going to use my extension. So remember how we did the stop sign in the wagon tutorial? I have not clicked. The only time that I've clicked was on this endpoint right there to start my line command. I'm going to move my mouse down. Now I'm going to hover over top of this endpoint right here. See, it says endpoint, and I'm going to move my mouse up, and at some magic point right there, you're going to see two things happen. You're going to see perpendicular at 90 degrees and polar angle 195. That tells me that I'm coming down at 15 degrees and I'm going up vertical, and that's that magic point right there where those things happen. I'm going to click, and then I can come down and kind of finish off the visible lines from my right side view. So now you should have something that looks like that. Alright, so the next thing we're going to tackle is putting in our hidden lines right here. So we're going to change our current layer to the hidden layer, and we're going to put in the lines, the hidden lines for our hole. So we're going to change our layer up here to current. That's our hidden layer is now our current layer. We're going to draw a line, and here are our construction lines that match up with the top and bottom of our hole. So we're going to go ahead and put those lines in right there. Okay, so notice now you've got a hidden line on top of your construction line. That's okay, because here in a second I'm going to show you how to turn off those construction lines so that you can see just a little bit better. So now you should have something looks kind of like that. Okay, and I want to show you real quick how you can make those construction lines kind of disappear temporarily. If I come up here to my layers and I click on this sun that's beside construction, make it into a snowflake, you'll notice that those lines kind of disappear. That's called freeze and thaw. So what we've done is frozen those layers. They're still there, we just aren't seeing them. We kind of like took them out. You can click it again to bring them on. So now you get the idea of how simple it is to erase those projection lines. Now that we have this 15-degree piece right here, you'll notice we now have a corner over here with no construction line associated with it. So what we can do now is create another horizontal construction line. So XL for construction line, H for horizontal, and I can put it through that endpoint right there. And this will allow me now to come back to my front view and finish those visible lines. So now I can come in and draw in the visible lines to complete out my front view. So we've got a little bit, we've got this piece right here, and all of these pieces, this line right there and there, is just to connect the dots. I don't really know exactly what that angle is, and it doesn't make any difference to me. I just need to come in and connect endpoint to endpoint. So that gives me a completed front view, except for the center lines. We're going to save those for the very end. But now I have all of my visible lines and all of my hidden lines in both my front and my right side views. So I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second, and then we'll get started on how to work on our top view.